All right, Maths Legends, this is what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be looking at identifying patterns and trying to identify, so we've got two learning intentions on this one. We're going to be looking at, figuring out what those patterns are, but also being like a little detective and then coming up with the formula to figure out some of these patterns as well. Guys, this is a tricky one. Feel free to watch the video a couple of times. Woo! All right, Legends, so let's have a look at this one. So my first thing I need to do, I'm going to just enlarge that and make that nice and big for me, is the first thing I'm doing when I'm looking at numbers and patterns is I need to identify what is the difference between the first number and the second number. So between here and here is plus 1, okay? So that's 51, 52. Between here and here is plus 1. Between 52, 53, it's plus 1. And so on. If I identify what pattern that's traveling in, I can then say, well, between here and here, it's going to be plus 1 as well. So that's 55, okay? Between here and here, it's going to be plus 1. And then we've got 56 and so on, okay? That's an easy one to do. What I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to move through here. And let's go to a bit of a harder one. Let's start here on D. Now, between these two numbers, between 70 and 77, I am adding 7, okay? Between 70, I'm adding 7. If I go again between 77 and 84, well, I'm going to say 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84. We all know that is 7 again, okay? Between that one and that one. Between 84 and 91, I'm adding another 7, okay? So when I start to work out what comes next, it's easy. It's plus 7. I'm looking at 98, all right? And then if I work my way across, okay, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to add 7, okay? 7 plus 108 is 105, sorry, 98, sorry. And then 105 plus 7, I'll move this across, okay? So 105 plus 7 is 112, all right? And that's how I figure it out. So as soon as I find out what that pattern is, I can then go about finding out the answer. Let's look at the last one. Now, the last one seems to be going a little bit different. And let's have a look at that now. What is the difference between 64 and 56? So I'm going to go down this time. So I'm going to take 4 away, and and add 4 there is 8. The difference is I'm subtracting 8. Then between 56 and 48, it is minus. Now it's going to be more than 8. No, it's not. It's minus 8 again. No, this is a bit easier than I thought. And then between here and here, it is minus 8. And I'm going to keep minusing out on the next one. 48 minus 8 is 32. Then I minus 8 again. 32 minus 8 is... I'll just try and move that across. Let's try that again. Oh, that's all I've got. Okay, that's fine. And then as you move it across there, that's better. Now, 32 minus 8 is 26. 26. Okay. Oh, my apologies. 24. So that's how we work out. So what we do is when we're looking at patterns in algebra, we need to figure out what those patterns are. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. All right, on to the next one, please. Okay, now these ones are a little bit harder because now we're looking at a pattern with decimals, and we're actually looking at what we're going to do with these decimals. And our first rule, or our first hack with decimals, is we look at it like it's money. So we've got 60 cents, then 70 cents, 80 cents. And I know that when I'm working with decimals, if I'm adding anything, I'm just going to be adding 0.1 or 10 cents to that, okay? So as I go from 70 or 7.7 to 0.8, I know I'm adding 0.1, okay? And simply 0.8 plus 1 is 0.9, so that's 90 cents. What comes after 90 cents? Well, that's $1 whole dollar, okay? And then what's 10 cents plus $1? Well, that's $1.10. Then 10 cents again is $1.20, and then $1.30. So between here and here, I'm adding 0.1, okay? Between here and here, 0.1. Between here and here, 0.1, all right? then plus here 0.1. All right, let's look at the next one. What is the difference between 8 and 16? Well, if I work that out, it's actually adding 8. So 8 plus 8 equals 16. 16 plus something equals 32. What's the difference between 16 and 32? Well, it's 16. Okay, so 16 plus 16 is 32. Look at my pattern now. I've got a pattern forming. I've got 8, 16. All right, the next one I'm going to be doing, you can see that there is an 8 here, 8 here, 16 here, 16 here. So I'm adding that number on. So then I'm going to say, well, there's 32. 32 plus 32, of course, is 64. Then I'm going to add 64 up here. 64 plus 64 is 128. And then 128 plus 128 is 236. My apologies, is 256. 256. Then 256 plus 256 is 512. And then I add 512 plus 512 is 1024. Okay. Okay, guys, this last one we're going to be looking at again. We're looking at decimals here, and we use our same sheet. We look at it like it's money. So this over here, 0.5, we look at that like it is 0.50. All right. Now, what's between 0.5 and $1.50? Well, I'm adding 50 cents on. So I'm looking at $1. So 50 cents, $1, $1.50. And I'm going to keep adding 0.5 or 50 cents. Then I'm going to go to $2. Then if I add another 0.50, it is 2.5 or $2.50. Then I add another 0.5 to that. It is now 3.0 or $3. And then last 0.5 is 3.5 or $3.50. Okay? All right. On to the next one. Okay, this concept's a little bit tricky. So this is looking at patterns, but looking at a general rule. Okay, so we're looking at a general rule here too. So we're going to figure out what the patterns are, but we're also going to figure out a general rule so that if we need to, if you can see the term, the T, if we want to do 500, we'd be able to tell how many matchsticks we need. So let's have a look at what we're talking about here. So they're saying in the first one that it's going to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's going to take 6 matches to make that first shape. Okay, so 6 matches. Then we go to the next one. Okay, and we count the next one. It's going to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's going to take 11 to make the next shape. Now, the reason why it's taking 11 and not 12 is we're sharing one of those shapes, okay? Let's count the next one then, okay? We know that that's going to be 11, okay? We know that we're at 11, and then we're going to count the other one. So we've gone over through here. All these ones are 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, okay? So then we're at 16 now. Now we need to figure out what a general rule is. What is going to be our general rule? So if I look at it, I'm going to say, well, 3, it could be 2 times 5 plus 1. I'm going to have a guess. Is it 2 times 5 plus 1? 2 times 5 is 10, plus 1 is 11. So that general rule works there. Now let's look at this one. 3 times 5 plus 1. Let's have a look. 3 times 5 is 15, and then I add that extra 1, okay? That gives me 16, all right? Let's have a look at the next one. I've got 4 this time, so I'm going to say 4 times 5 plus 1. 4 times 5 is 20. 20 plus 1 equals 21. So I'm saying this is 21 for shape 4. Let's count how many to see whether our general rule is right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So we know that if we times our t, or times the term by 5 and add 1, that's going to give us. So our rule is based on the previous term. So that means that my general rule is times 5 plus 1. Okay? So if I was to use the t and the m, I would say t times m plus 1 is my rule. Term times number of matchsticks plus 1. And what I can do, the reason why we like to figure this stuff out is I can go straight to 10. I can say, well, 10 times 5 plus 1. 10 times 5 is 50, plus 1 equals 51. So 51. It would take 51 matches to do 10 terms of this shape. All right? So then I can go straight to 50 now, and I can say, well, 50 times 5 plus 1. Well, 50 times 5 is 250, and 250 plus 1 equals 251. So I can say 251. So we look at our general rule to be able to help us with our patterns and our shapes. So this is almost the continuation of working out what the patterns are. All right, I'm going to give you one more of these, and you're going to figure that one out. All right, guys, let's look at this one now. So the first thing I'm going to say to you guys is this. You need to apply the rule. So we want to say t times m plus something equals. So I want you to figure out how I can use this general rule, or figure out this this formula to figure out the general rule. All right, pause the video now and let's see if you can sort it out. Okay, guys, hopefully you paused that video and you're on your way to figuring that out. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to count how many different matchsticks there are to make one shape. So to make one term, it's going to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's 10 matchsticks, okay? The next one, I know that this is 10 here. All right, so that's 10. And I'm going to add on the extra ones. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. All right. And being a little detective, we'll do the last one. So I know that it's 17 matchsticks to make this shape. Then I add it together. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Now I can go about being my detective in figuring out. Okay, so for the next number of matchsticks, I'm going to take my term, which is 4. Okay, so I'm taking my pattern up here, so that's 4 times. Now, I've got to figure out the matchsticks. For me, it takes an extra 7 matchsticks to make the extra shape. So I'm going to put that times 7. Okay, and then I'm going to figure out what number is missing, because I've got to add a number to make sure I'm right. So let's look at the first one. The first one is 2 times 7 is 14 plus, and I've got to get to 17. So I'm going to add 14, 15, 16, 17. So that's 3. And that equals 17. Now I'm going to apply the same rule to the one below it. 3 times 7 plus 3. And let's see if I figure out with 24 now. 3 sevens are 21 plus 3 is 24. So straight away, I can now say that my formula is working. So let's go back to number 4 now. 4 times 7 plus 3. Well, 4 sevens are 28. Plus 3, 28, 29, 30, 31. So 31. All right, and the great thing is, because I've still got some patterns there, I can actually check this. So I know that it's going to take me 31 matchsticks. 24 matchsticks to make this shape. All right, so in the third term, that's 24 matchsticks. So there is 24 matchsticks. Now, I'm going to add on the extra ones. 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. 31 works, okay? And this way, I can work out the next one. I can go 5 times 7, because I know my pattern works now, plus 3. Well, 5 sevens are 35, plus 3, 35, 36, 37, 38. All right? So straight away, 38. And I can go back through, I can make sure this works, because I know that I'm adding from here to here, I've added 7. 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 And what I could keep doing, I could just keep adding 7 all the way through. But the reason why I want you to figure out a rule or a general pattern is for when I've got numbers like 50, all right? Because I can't keep adding, I'd have to do one of those, I'd have to draw a table that went all the way up to 50, all right? That'd take too long. Now that I've got my general rule and my pattern, I can simply just say, well, 50 times 7 plus 3. Well, I'm going to take that 0 away. 5 times 7 is 35. Then I add that 0 back, 350. Then 350 plus 3 is 353. And I can throw that in here, 3, 5, 3. My general rule is T times matchsticks plus, and then I've put 3, okay? Hopefully that makes sense. By all means, go back to the last video if you're unsure. There are 2 examples of this now. This is a tricky concept, but definitely one worth learning. All right, guys, well done.